6. Well, it's 4 to 6, so
okay.
I think I want to do 6.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Andrea Fesler, and I am a registered nurse and an intuitive healer. I was born here. I'm a Colorado Springs native, and I was born in 1984. Both of my parents are teachers, and when I was young, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother because they were both going back to school to get their master's degrees. I brought a picture of my grandmother because I want to pass it around so that you can all get to feel her energy and see who she was and kind of the person that I'm going to be talking about. So growing up with my grandmother, it meant a lot of things. It meant that I got to have fun and got to have my grandma in my life every day. But I also went to the nursing home with her to care for my grandfather and my great-grandmother every single day that I was with her. So I became really comfortable with end-of-life issues at a really young age. I was an only child, so my best friends were the elderly. They were the old people that I was hanging out with all the time. And what do you guys think of when you think of a nursing home? Yeah, old people, smelly, gross, dark, dingy. That's what most people think of. And sometimes now as a nurse I do, but back then when I was little, the nursing home was a place that I got to go and connect with people and heal people and help them grow and change and take care of them, and I got to feel what that felt like. So it was really cool. But being surrounded by old people, and I'm talking like 70, 80, 90-year-olds, what do they talk about? They talk about their medicine and their doctor's appointments and their illnesses, and they talk about, oh, you know, like death is a normal thing for them. They talk about who they're going to leave their stuff to and where are they going to be buried. So it's kind of like, to me, talking about death became like talking about dinner. It was like, oh yeah, there's a 2-for-1 cremation special. Should we go in on that? Okay, cool. So it's like, it just, my whole life, like talking about death was really, really normal. So by the time I was 10, I had lost 8 close relatives in my life, my grandfather and my great-grandmother included. But the death later that would affect me the most would be the death of my grandma Lucy. She died when I was 15. And already when I was 15, I had a lot going on. You're a 15-year-old girl. My parents had just divorced. My dad was living with a new woman, and I had a whole new step-family to figure out. I was also an empath, and that means that you feel other people's emotions, but I didn't know it. So it was just a really crazy time in my life. And on top of it, my best friend was dying, my grandma. However, she faced her death with such peace and dignity. It was one of the most amazing experiences that I was able to have. She got diagnosed with a form of cancer called mesothelioma, and that's in your lungs caused by asbestos. And she chose to go home on hospice. She knew that chemo wasn't an option and that she was ready to die. So we took her home on hospice, and my life's work really unfolded before me. We had an amazing hospice nurse who showed us how to give her the medications and touch her and be with her in those moments of transition. I really got to see that death is not something to be afraid of, and that it can be really a fulfilling and amazing moment. As my grandmother's soul transitioned, the heavens opened up and she left, and I was left with the deep intuitive wisdom and knowing of my life's purpose. In the moment of her death, when I saw the peace wash over her body, I knew 2 things. Number 1, that death is absolutely not something to be afraid of, but rather it's the ultimate healing. And number 2, I was being called to bring that same comfort, peace, and understanding to other families at the end of life to help them make their transitions easier. After my grandma died, I became a certified nurse's assistant, and I went straight into hospice care. I also did home care and worked with quadriplegic people who can't move at all, so I really learned a lot of hard nursing skills right up front. But it was really good, and everything I did just built on top of itself to get me to where I am. So I did nursing in Colorado. I graduated UNC in Greeley in 2008 with my nursing degree, and I stayed in Colorado for a while doing some nursing, and then I left to just discover the world of travel nursing. Travel nursing is where you do 3 to 6 month assignments, and I did assignments all over the United States, and I had an amazing time. And I ended up in San Diego, where I worked with a nurse in radiation oncology who told me I needed to go see this lady who was an intuitive healer. And I'm like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know what that means. I was so indoctrinated into Western medicine in my left brain, all this energy stuff and all this intuitive stuff, I felt like it was really, really woo. So I ended up being audacious and bold, and I went and booked a session with Tanya, and I really wanted to go connect to my grandmother. Now, my life looked really good on the outside, but on the inside, I had some really cavernous holes that needed tending to. It looked perfect, but I was a wreck, and I was really lonely, and I needed connection. So I got to go to Tanya, and my grandmother came through with some really amazing healing messages, and I got to see that she never left me, that she's always been with me, and she's always guided me, and she's been there helping me make decisions the entire time. I think sometimes her, along with like my guardian angels, have really got this face palm move down. You guys know what I mean? This, what is she doing? Like, oh my God, what is this girl doing, her decisions? But I'm proud to say I've been able to kind of come through that, and now I'm making really good decisions. So after my intuitive awakening, my whole life changed. Tanya, in those sessions with her, she told me that I too was an intuitive healer. And at first I had a really hard time with that because of my Western medicine background. I thought, no, I can't, there's no way, that's not possible. And then I learned that intuition is just like any other skill. You go to school to develop your intuition and to learn how to do healing and connect with spirit. So the last 4 years I've been going to school to learn how to do this, and I've taken over 30 different healing classes, and I've learned how to teach how to do this to other people. So I've since moved back to Colorado Springs. I have my own healing practice where I see individual clients, and I'm also teaching on a regular basis. People come from all over the country to fly and take my classes, and it's so fun. I work just part-time as a nurse at Penrose Hospital on the oncology floor to keep my skills active, but it's just like the most fulfilling thing in my life. I've been shown visions that I'm going to bridge the gap between Western medicine and alternative medicine. And the visions I've been getting are really, I have no idea how I'm gonna make this work. And honestly, I gotta tell you, it totally freaks me out. But I know that I'm intuitively guided, led, and supported. And I was intuitively guided to this Toastmasters group. And I have set up an intention in my life that only people who are kind, loving, ready, willing, able to heal, and who do heal show up in my life. And so that tells me a lot about each and every one of you. Healing doesn't have to look a certain way. Healing can be a smile, a hug, a laugh, a handshake, and we are all healers. My favorite quote, there is no cure for curiosity. The cure for boredom is curiosity, but there is no cure for curiosity. And I'm just really grateful for all of you here, and that we will be able to go forward and change the world together. Thank you.